I want to advise cassava farmers. If you're a cassava farmer or you even plan going into cassava, this video is going to help you position you in a state where you will not make losses in this business. Now, recently, many cassava farmers have been crying, including me, who also have a cassava farm, because as a farmer, it shows very clear that we are not making profit. I have one of my clients who is from the UK that came back to Nigeria because he had over, I said, tens of hectares of cassava farm, and he came back to sell. He want to make sales by himself because all this while he has been there, people have been selling, sending him money, giving him figures that he doesn't understand. So he decided to come, stay for a few weeks to monitor the sales himself. And he was speaking with me, and honestly, he was lamenting. He said he has never made profit in cassava farming. All these years, he will plant cassava, spend a lot of money on inputs, pay laborers. Then at the end of the day, he will come out after calculation. He will not make profit. Now, I made a video, I was speaking, and I told us that many farmers in Africa are not making profit in farming. They are just farming to feed our growing population. And that is the reason why everybody should respect a farmer. Because if you as a farmer settle down to run a cost analysis and check how much you invested in the farm, and you sell, or let me say tag your product based on your cost of production, many people will not be able to afford food. And sadly, because most of our farmers, majority of them are illiterate, they don't keep books of account. So when they produce their rice, yam, soya beans, maize, cassava, any other product, they just take it to the market. So when they get to the market, they will tell them, okay, today we are buying for 70,000 per bag. Now that farmer has no option to say, no, this 70,000 per bag you're buying, based on my own cost of production, if I sell to you for 70,000, I will not make profit. They don't do that. They just say, okay, because I need money to pay my child's school fees, I took a loan, or have to pay this one, I will need to buy Maggi, buy soap, buy other things for my family. Okay, let me just sell. They keep recycling this same method for many years, and that is the reason why they cannot drive a good car. They will not be able to sleep in a good house. Many farmers can't afford to build a house now. You and I know how much is cost of building materials in Nigeria. Many farmers cannot. And the truth of the matter is that they don't even give up on the trade because they don't have alternative. This is the only thing they do. So even though they sold at a loss last year, and they didn't even know they sold at a loss, but we know that they sold at a loss, next year they will still plant the groundnut. The coming year they will still plant the cassava. But this my farmer who is educated, who is sending money home, was doing his calculation. Okay, I send so money for this. I sent so money for this. Now, based on the harvest, we got, say, 20 tons per hectare. Okay, if I'm to sell 1 ton for 80,000 naira, I will not be in profit. The only way I can be in a reasonable profit is if I'm selling 1 ton for 200,000. Now, just imagine that kind of calculation. It means that person is losing 120,000 naira because he did the calculation, kept the books, and now matching it based on cost of production, and he's seeing that he's in heavy loss. This is the situation of many African farmers. Now, we, the new generational farmers, we have to come in with an intelligence because this is a business. Remember, you're not just producing food because you saw that Africa has a growing population, and if you don't produce food, there will be hunger in the land. That is very far from you. I don't want you to come into farming with that kind of mindset. Personally, I'm not into farming with that kind of mindset. Maybe I started with that, but as life progressed and I've seen life, I decided that no, this is a business. Aside of me trying to make sure people don't go to bed hungry, I shouldn't also go to bed hungry too. And if I'm going to invest money into production and at the end of the day I'll go to bed hungry, no way. I shouldn't be doing that kind of business. Now we have NGOs who enter the market, they buy farm produce and supply. Let me say, take it to places where they see that okay, there is hunger, and sell to people. Or most times they dash. That is also good. Now, you as a business owner, as a farmer, I would advise you to also have part of your savings for that kind of charity work. But when it comes to your main produce, bro, sell at a profit at any cost, at any time. Once you're not in profit, that is why I always advise people, before you jump into farming, can you settle down and run your cost analysis? At least do a simple SWOT analysis, a simple market profitability analysis, a simple research to be able to know what will be my cost, what will be my projected income. Don't just go into and say, okay, let me just go and start a cassava farm. How are you planning to sell this cassava? Now, I want us to look at this thing critically. Now, we're already in it. You didn't started with this. You have done your mistake already. Now, you have a lot of cassava farms. And based on the small books you have kept, if you sell, you are not in profit. So, how are you going to do? I will not just blame you and say, yeah, you are a beginner, so you made a mistake, suffer the mistake. No. As a professional, as an expert in this business, I need to give you pointers. Okay, you made this mistake. This is how to correct it. Now, this is why, let me say, the reason I'm shooting this video today. Now, what can you do to increase the profit of your farm by at least 50%? Number one, stop harvesting your cassava right now. Because you have seen that if you sell this cassava now, you are at loss. Now, I've made a video extensively on cassava farming. The reason why I does that is because we are the largest producers of cassava in the world. So it therefore means we have the best kind of soil, the best kind of climate, the best kind of cassava species to grow. So when you are looking at a business as a starter to test how profitable agriculture is, start with cassava farming. Because most of the farmland we have in Nigeria are suitable for cassava farming. So when you use them as your starting point, you have deeper knowledge on farming. So I always advise people, start with cassava farming. Now, I always advise too that your soil in which you want to plant your cassava should be suitable and capable to host your cassava for at least 12 months, which is 1 year. So currently, cassava is bad. So if your soil is good and that soil can host cassava there without getting rotting, leave it there. You mustn't sell now. I want to assure you that by dry season, which is in Nigeria here, which is around January, February, March, I'm telling you that the price of cassava will increase. But because maybe you planted your cassava on a bad soil, you will need to harvest it now and sell at a bad price. You are not into charity business. You are here to make profit. So my advice for you, first advice is stop harvesting the cassava right now. Leave it there. If your soil can host the cassava, and people's soil is not that good, so if they don't sell now, they will not be able to make profit. But if your soil is good, please leave the cassava to be there until dry season. Harvest season is always like this. In many seasons, it's always like this. Now, the second thing you need to do is to process your cassava into garri. Believe me, this one is going to make you more than 100%. When you harvest your cassava, now I'm not speaking to you going to buy cassava. I'm saying you already have that cassava farm. And based on the profit they are giving to you, you are not in profit. So what I expect you to do is to process that cassava into garri. Garri is one of the most basic things you can do with cassava. And it's easy to do. So you don't even need to buy bigger equipment. Maybe within your community you have other women, local women who use local method to process their garri. They have been doing it for many years. You can employ their services. They charge you per pickup or per wheelbarrow or per basin. No matter how they charge you, they will help you to harvest that cassava and process to garri. One of the challenges you face is how to sell. Now, that challenge is solvable. The first thing you need to do is visit a market. Go to marketplaces. Meet those distributors who are big in garri and offer your product to them. Let them know that, okay, I have garri that is coming in. How much are you buying per bag? Okay, I have 100 bags or I have 20 bags. Now, for some persons, you might not be able to harvest all your farm and process to garri. I'm aware of that. Maybe you have 10 hectares. It doesn't make sense for someone who is a beginner, who is not sure of a market, to harvest 10 hectares of cassava and then start processing to garri. No. What you do is maybe you reduce it. Maybe you can do 5 hectares or let's say 3 hectares. You process it to garri. and sell. So you can see money, may you see money whole body, as we used to say it in Nigeria. May hunger no buy you. At least may you get capital that you can run it into another business. I always tell people that many people don't understand the time value of money. So the money that you invested in a project that is going to take 12 months should be able to give you a profit that can match that investment, that time that you have to wait. So when you have to wait forever, it doesn't make sense. So the only way you can, or the only thing you can do, or I expect you to do, is to harvest a little, sell, see small profit or see small return on the investment you have done. That is another method you can do. Now the next thing you can do is to process it into cassava chips. What is cassava chips? Don't let that chips confuse you. It's just dry cassava. So the process is very simple. You harvest your cassava, you peel it, you slice it, sun dry, then package in bags. This one gives more profit than processing to, or let me say selling raw to those Chinese guys that are extorting us. Sadly, it gives you more money. And the thing is, currently we are in rainy season, so it might be difficult for you to even sun dry your cassava, because before you do, the rest will come back. In many places now in Nigeria where you can't even tell whether you're in rainy season or you're in dry season, it will be difficult for this advice to work for you. So what I expect you to do is that around December, where rains normally stop in many places, in many states in Nigeria, what I expect you to do is to harvest your cassava, peel it, and sun dry. When you sun dry your cassava, you add value to it. Remember, this is value addition. So what I'm discussing here with you all is that, see, if you can change the state of your cassava right now, you'll be in profit. So dry your cassava into chips, package it into bags, and supply to companies. We have Chinese companies that buy cassava chips. There are many places that have made video, I've given you the list of cassava companies that are buying cassava. You can check any of them, ask them whether they are buying chips. They buy the chips better. Of course, you too, you will spend a little money on processing to chips, but it will give you better value. I've done it before. I've bought a pickup load of fresh cassava, paid women money, they peel it and sun dry. The profit margin is better. So these are the few ways I believe you can add value to your cassava. Instead of just crying and selling at a loss, concluding that I didn't make profit this year, you can leave it to be there. By anything next year, the price will definitely increase. Some of us that have been into this business for a long time, we know the cycle. It happens. Not because this year there was too much cassava cultivation, that is the reason why the price is bad. No, it happens normally in this our industry. So the only thing you need to do is to be calculative, especially if you are not being pressured. And if you did not collect money from people or maybe a loan to cultivate that cassava, you can leave it. Or you process to garri, look for a way to harvest your cassava, turn it to garri. There is no way you will not make profit, including the cost of processing that garri, including the cost of selling it. There is no way you will not make profit. There are some farmers in my community who don't sell their cassava fresh. There is no amount of money you pay them that they will sell fresh to you. They process to garri. They have been doing it for many years, and they can show you on paper how much that cassava gave them as they turn it to garri. So the base or the maintain that method, like in Benue State, we have Ogbadibo, we have Ohimini, we have which other place now? We have places in Benue State. Let me say in Makurdi or Zakiban, those places. They strictly on garri. They will not sell their cassava to you because it pays them better. So they don't even supply to the Chinese company that we buy and sell to them. No, they process their own. If you cannot process to garri, I say do it, turn it to chips. And that chips, you can start doing it by December. When the rains have stopped, it gives you more profit. So you don't have to be stranded. You don't have to be bothered and say, hey, the money I invested, I'm now in loss. Then you're just destroying your cassava that you want to sell and make money. For some of us who are business people, who are just coming to buy from farmers to go and resell, we will be in profit. But the farmer will not be in profit. And at the end of the day, let's assume you are abroad sending money. You'll be frustrated. You will not invest in agriculture again. So I believe these three ways to add value to your cassava that I've shared this morning is able to help you to make a better decision in this business. If you have found value in this video, you can share it. Maybe many other farmers need to listen to this. And if you are yet to subscribe to this channel, I plead that you subscribe and stay connected. My name is Dennison. You can always call me your billionaire farmer. Thank you for watching.